We'll start with a prayer. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. शुभ संध्या. अहम हेमांगी कपूर अत्र उपस्थित सर्वान् छात्रान् महानुभावान् च अन्यभागिनान् ACMस्य एतस्मिन् वार्षिक कार्यक्रमे स्वागतम्. महद्भिः वक्ताभिः उक्त एतानि व्याख्यानानि श्रुत्वा वयम् अपि निश्चित परिश्रमितुं च उत्तमशोधकार्यं कर्तुं प्रोत्साहित भवेम. Good evening and welcome to the virtual yet real gathering of the ACM India annual event. During today's evening, the reports of the ACM India as well as ACM Global will be presented, followed by the awards ceremony. Our heartfelt gratitude to PhD College of Technology for managing the backend for all the events. We all are eager to personally meet you and thank you. Surely we are coming to Coimbatore next year. ACM is the world's largest computing society, and I am proud to be part of it. ACM is run by strong leadership. It promotes highest standards and recognizes excellence in technological advances. It supports the growth of individual professionals by creating opportunities for learning as well as networking. These are very necessary for one's career development. ACM brings together students, researchers, teachers, and professionals and enables interactions to share their ideas and resources. To begin the event, let me first welcome our guests who are located in various parts of the world and have been kind enough to join us at odd hours due to the differences in the time zone. To begin with, let me welcome ACM President Gabriele Kotsis. She is a computer science professor at Johannes Kepler University, Austria. Hello, Gabriele. Maybe you can say a wave and say hello to the audience.
Yes, thank you very much for the kind introduction and the warm welcome. It is my pleasure to attend this event, although it's only virtually. I would love to travel to India again. When we were preparing this event, I think I told you that I spent 1 month as a sabbatical actually during my work for my tenure track position at the IIT in Madras. So I always love to come back because I fall in love with the South Indian cuisine. It's really great. I'm looking forward to that again. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriele. Next, I will welcome Vicky Hansen, who is the Executive Director and CEO of ACM. She is also a distinguished professor at the Rochester Institute of Technology and visiting professor at the University of Dundee. Hello, Vicky.
Hi. Thank you very much for that. I am sorry that I don't get to see you again. I've been there for the last few years for the annual event and thoroughly enjoyed it. And the cuisine, I share the love of the cuisine with Gabriele. But anyway, I'm glad I get to participate this way. Hopefully next year we'll all get to be together again. And in advance, I just want to congratulate everyone who's going to be receiving an award this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. Okay. Welcome to Patricia Ryan. She is the ACM COO. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be part of the ACM India annual event and awards ceremony. You know, ACM is known for its technical excellence, and awards help to recognize some of the outstanding achievements in computer science. So it's really fitting that ACM India has established these awards. Just as an aside, and as PJN knows, I've been fortunate enough to attend every ACM India annual event since its inception. And I miss being there this year and hope that we can all meet together in person at next year's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. Next, I'm welcoming people from our own council. Welcome to Hina Timani, who is the chair of the ACMW chapter of India, and Jayant Haritsa, president of ACM India Council. So both of you can wave, and then we'll pause the slides to take a group picture. Please.
So
Hold
can we
on.
get
So has Hina and Jayant, have they switched on their video? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put spotlight on 5 or 6 of you. So it's going to take.
Yeah, Hemant, my video is on. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Now
Hemant, if it's okay, we can get everybody, whoever wants to be on the video. No, I can see like 16, 20 people together. I can take a picture.
Sure. So do that. But we do want to get those people for sure. Yeah. So once you do a screen grab, let me know. I'll put spotlight on people also.
Yeah. Whoever is in the panelists, the co-host, please switch on. I don't see you also, Hemant, in the video. Please switch on. Venkatesh, Abhijit. Yeah. Meenakshi. Neil, yeah, whoever wants to be, I can take a picture of all of us together. Okay, on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a picture for records for the 6 of you. So one by one, just spotlight Jayant. Then I am spotlighting Hemangi. Then Hina. I have Gabriele. I have to scroll down to get now Pat and this one. Add spotlight. And I am missing Vicky, so all the way down, get Vicky. There you go. Now full screen. So with this, I can also take a picture. But PK, go ahead. You can do that too.
Yeah, now six of them. Yes. On a count of 3. Great. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right. All yours, Hemangi. I'll remove spotlight. Yeah.
So moving on, I would like to thank all the honorable invited guest speakers who have been giving the talk throughout the day to us. And it was very good fortune to listen to them. So we had talks from Dr. Amanda Randles. She is a faculty of computer science, biomedical engineering, and biomedical sciences at the Duke University. We heard from Kurt Melhorn, who is a professor at the Max Planck Institute for Informatics, Germany. We were also happy to host our own Milind Soni sir from the Department of Computer Science, IIT Bombay. And he's also a professor at the Center for Technology Alternatives for Rural Areas. And our star speaker, Turing Award winner, Dr. Edwin Catmull. So Dr. Catmull is a co-founder of the Pixar Animation Studios and the former president of Walt Disney Animation Studios. So thank you to all the speakers for enriching our knowledge. Through the year, ACM India has worked hard to keep the community active, and especially in the trying times of the pandemic. All the planned activities have kept us constructively engaged. I would invite Jayant Haritsa, President ACM India, to present the report of our activities for the year 2020.
Thanks, Hemangi. Can I share my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
So, be removing spotlight from people.
Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'll get started then. Hello, everybody. Since this event is being held in Tamil Nadu, albeit virtually, let me start by saying Vanakkam. Now, on behalf of ACM India, I am pleased to present a report on our activities during the past year. As Hemangi already mentioned, although computing may appear to be a recent discipline, ACM was founded way back in 1947, coincidentally, exactly a month after India's independence. Since then, it has developed to be the largest educational and scientific computing society in the world, boasting of over 100,000 members globally. ACM India was launched a decade ago in January 2010 as a regional council on the lines of ACM Europe and ACM China to give focus to the activities in India. And what is amazing is that despite its relatively short existence, ACM India has grown by leaps and bounds to become one of the largest communities worldwide. Our current count is over 12,000 members, constituting more than 10% of the global membership. We also have a very healthy mix of professional and student members in our community. Currently, there are close to 30 professional chapters spread all over the country, inclusive of 3 for women. On the student front, the numbers are even more impressive. We have as many as 236 student chapters, inclusive of 40 for women. I should also mention that our annual membership fees for ACM are extremely low, about the cost of a large pizza. So I strongly encourage those of you in the audience who are not members to please join at the earliest. The Council is the elected governing body of ACM India and has a 2-year term. The current council took office last summer, and from the list here, you can see that it has members sourced from the major academic institutions and industrial research labs in the country. ACMW is the women's wing of ACM India, and the chair of that wing is also automatically part of our council. To manage ACM India's activities on a continuous basis, we also have an executive director and a chief operating officer who are seasoned industry veterans and ensure that our programs are implemented in a professional and timely manner. Here is a picture of our recent council meeting, which was held last Saturday. And as you can see, they all look reasonably happy, so the work must be going on quite well. When our council took office last summer, we felt that the current scale of ACM India activities would benefit from a streamlined organizational framework that evolves from the previous largely volunteer-driven phase. So 11 committees were set up, covering the gamut from awards to external engagements, with each council member chairing a specific committee and a designated member of the ExeCom serving as the liaison to this committee. So in the rest of this presentation, I'll walk you through the various initiatives taken up over the past year on a variety of fronts with enthusiastic involvement from our members as both contributors and participants. So starting off with professional development, on a monthly basis, we host popular webinars by experts on topics related to industry, education, and students. Recently, panel discussions have been added to this mix to give the audience a rich blend of perspectives. We support an eminent speaker program on similar lines to ACM's Distinguished Speaker Program, where we sponsor talks by leading Indian experts at chapters that would like to invite them and benefit from their knowledge. Several experts have joined us over the past year, but of course, due to the pandemic, all visits are online at the current time. A new program of industry boot camps, which are 3-day intensive upskilling events for professionals, is just getting underway, and the inaugural camp on blockchain technologies will be coming up next week. Mini Graphs is another recent initiative that will fructify soon, where a subject expert produces an accessible but in-depth survey on a contemporary technology. The first couple of issues include hot topics such as privacy, machine learning in networking, hybrid cloud, and high-performance computing. On the research front, ACM India runs a plethora of programs that further the cause of computing across all segments of the research fraternity. ARCS, which stands for Academic Research and Careers for Students, is the rebranded avatar of the long-running IRIS Symposium. Its objective is to provide an opportunity for our research students to showcase high-quality work published in the top international fora to a conclave of researchers and potential employers from both academia and industry. Further, recently graduated researchers share their PhD experiences and the professional life thereafter. In tandem, we also have distinguished senior researchers present their celebrated work to serve as role models for the young audience. The PhD Clinic, on the other hand, is a new initiative that facilitates research students, especially those from developing institutions, to obtain inputs and advice on a sustained and one-on-one basis from expert mentors in academia and industry. It has already caught the popular imagination with over 100 students enrolled in the program, being guided by 30 plus mentors. The linkages set up by the clinic are now being augmented with a program called Anveshan Setu, which is the Hindi phrase for research bridge that supports month-long in-person visits of these students to the mentors institution. Finally, in collaboration with IARCS, which is the Indian Association for Research in Computer Science, we provide student travel grants to premier international computer science conferences. The grants are quite generous, often going up to 100,000 rupees, which is roughly 1,500 US dollars. Of course, in the past year, the support has primarily been in the form of registration fees due to conferences going online. Finally, ACM India is also a prime mover behind most of the premier Indian conferences, including CODS COMAD in the data science space, ISEC in software engineering, and CompsNet in networking. On the pedagogical front, ACM India is involved in a spectrum of activities that range from school education all the way to professional upskilling. Several schools are hosted in the summer and winter breaks. Each of these schools runs for a couple of weeks and covers a contemporary topic, leveraging expertise from both researchers and practitioners. This year, unfortunately, the summer schools had to be cancelled due to the COVID situation, but we have made amends in the winter break by hosting them online. Some of the recent areas that have been covered include cybersecurity, big data algorithms, and fairness in AI. And we have also had an exclusive women-only school on NLP. We had a team of eminent academics diligently critique Computing Curricula 2020, which was a joint ACM IEEE report that was released last October. Their feedback has been communicated to the curriculum committee, and hopefully their observations will be addressed in the final report. The same team has also engaged with the Indian government on development of pedagogical guidelines for introductory programming, as well as more fundamental issues of developing incentives for improved teaching. In December, we held Compute, our flagship education conference, and this time around, there was a special focus on research in computing education rather than the usual emphasis on pedagogy and assessment. CS Pathshala, and Pathshala is the Hindi word for school, is a long-standing grassroots effort to inculcate computational thinking in school children, especially in underserved areas. Our volunteers have interacted directly with hundreds of thousands of students in multiple states and languages, and also hosted programs at thousands of academic institutions. The impact of the work is indicated by the annual Computational Thinking in Schools conference, attracting more than 1,000 participants. Further, they have also played a significant role in the formulation of the new education policy that was announced by the Indian government last year. Moving on to industry, while ACM India has traditionally had a dominant academic flavor, we have now tried to actively pursue a better balance by bringing in a strong industry presence across the board in all our programs. Google, Icertis, Persistence, and TCS have been our long-standing and highly valued platinum partners. We are happy to report that Cisco has now joined the partner program at the silver level. I must admit that we were rather worried that due to the COVID-19 situation and the consequent industry downturn, that we may find it difficult to secure sponsorship for our various programs. However, the good news is that with strategically focused efforts, we have still managed to obtain a healthy funding of around 9 million Indian rupees, which is roughly 130,000 US dollars. With regard to women empowerment, we share a symbiotic relationship with ACMW with the common objective of empowering women in all spheres of computing. ACMW conducted a variety of programs over the year, including a workshop which happened just a few days ago, programming hackathons, and the women-only schools that I mentioned earlier. They also organized AICWIC, a platform for women in technology to showcase their innovation and ideas. This year, the event's theme was on how innovation in IT could help address COVID-19 issues. Finally, the grad cohort workshop, a program inspired from its US counterpart, was held in July and attracted close to 200 participants. Finally, a major initiative implemented this year, which was already alluded to by Pat Ryan, is that in addition to our long-standing Distinguished Dissertation and Best Chapter awards, we have added 3 new professional awards: Outstanding Educator, Outstanding Woman Contributor, and Early Career Researcher, which will be formally awarded later in this session. I'm delighted to inform you that some of our members received recognition from ACM International for their impactful accomplishments. Dr. Aarti Dikshit received the Outstanding Contribution to ACM Award for contributing to the growth and diversity of ACM programs in India, especially with regard to ACMW. Then Professor Sudeep Mishra from IIT Kharagpur, who works in the IoT research space, received the Distinguished Member Recognition for outstanding scientific contributions to computing. Professor Pankaj Jalote from IIIT Delhi and a veteran ACM India member has joined the ACM Global Council to represent the SIG governing board, while Professor Madhavan Mukund from the Chennai Mathematical Institute has become a member of the DSP selection committee. Finally, Professors Meena Mahajan and Siddhartha Bhattacharya and our own executive director, Dr. Hemant Pandey, were featured in People of ACM during the past few months. So overall, looking back, we have definitely made some progress over the past year, but plenty of work still remains. And here are some of the areas that we plan to focus on during 2021. Currently, most of our membership is from developing institutions and smaller towns, with our footprint being worrisomely weak in the premier schools and in metro cities. And we certainly need to change this profile. We are also working on setting up data collection initiatives on a variety of student and institutional aspects. Further, in the spirit of teaching the teacher, we wish to develop mechanisms for improving conceptual understanding and communication skills. And on the flip side, to create position papers to influence government and educational policy. We are also putting in place a support system for facilitating higher grade nominations. So in closing, I hope that you found this brief overview of ACM India and its programs to be informative. I'll now hand over to Professor Gabriele Kotsis, who became the ACM president last July. And as she mentioned, she had spent some time at IIT Madras while writing her habilitation thesis. So don't be surprised if she gives her talk in Tamil. Over to you, Professor Kotsis. Hemangi, I've stopped sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Jayant. So moving on, at the global level, ACM has contributed to the community by encouraging research, creating opportunities for interaction. So I'm happy to welcome, we also have a new president of ACM this year, Gabriele Kotsis. So over to you, Gabriele, to present the ACM Global Report. You can share your screen and start the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm not sure if you can see now my presentation in the right mode. Do you see the presenters mode or do you see it correctly?
Not yet.
Okay, so then I need to change this probably. Let me see. Okay, and close it.
Screen share hasn't come up yet. We can see you.
Yes, one moment, it should work. I think there is a little bit of a delay currently on my side.
Yes.
Okay, looks good.
All is klar. Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Danke. So, well, thank you for your patience and thank you very much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to address and share some ideas, not so much actually about the past, so it will not be really a report. I rather would like to look with you into the future about what we as a global community could achieve and could do together. As it has been already mentioned in the introduction, it is now my pleasure and honor to be president of the world's oldest and largest society for computing researchers and practitioners. We are reaching worldwide professionals and students through our technical, scientific, and educational activities. And I think it's worth recalling the mission statement of ACM, where we see a world where computing helps solve tomorrow's problems and where we use our knowledge and skills to advance the profession and make a positive impact. Let me just take as a very practical example the current situation that we are in now. Because of the pandemic situation, a lot of countries, or actually more or less all countries at one moment in time during the past couple of months, had one or the other form of a lockdown. And I truly believe that all of us could work with that quite well because of the advantages and the advances that we have seen in computing machinery, in computer science. Communication technology is pretty evolved, and I'm not sure if a lockdown would have been possible 10 years ago without those kind of support functions. We are all becoming pretty familiar with using Zoom, although sometimes there is a delay until finally the actual presentation shows up, but we are getting used to the tools. We still do miss the personal, the real world interaction, but I think we have come to quite a high level of compensation with those kind of tools. And actually, within ACM, we are currently working on that to improve that even further, but I will tell you more about that a little bit later in my short presentation. I would also like to emphasize the aspect that ACM is a worldwide society, a global organization with locations truly all over the world, with the regional sub-branches like ACM India, or ACM Europe, or a very strong research group also in China working there. So it's really a worldwide, a global community. And I think that's important because we also have to address global problems that we are facing within our discipline, but also solving and serving the society. ACM membership is, I would say, quite stable at the moment. We do hope, of course, to grow membership because we really want to reach everybody who wants to join us and who wants to contribute to ACM. But maybe also because of the pandemic reason and situation, people are at the moment a little bit reluctant. So I'm very impressed by the numbers that we have just seen in the report of ACM India. Congratulations to the work that you have done in really creating such a large and sustainable community there. Still, we are close to 100 members worldwide, and those members are also characterized by diversity in its best sense. Diversity with respect to, of course, different national, different cultural background. Also diversity with respect to the various disciplines within computer science. So we have really all aspects of computer science, both from a scientific as well as a practical point of view. We have also seen the figures for India, also for ACM Global. It's roughly 50% academic members and 50% practitioner members. So it's more or less balanced with that respect. We have a range of age groups ranging from students up to people who even stay active within ACM after their retirement. So also age is a very diverse aspect. And of course, gender is also a diversity. And therefore it makes sense, or we can say it's fact that we can say that among our core values are those aspects of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This means that we not only have statistically a diverse membership, we also want to have all members actively participating in the activities of ACM. And this is one of the specific goals that we have set for the period of my presidency. We also want to act as a role model in ethical and socially responsible computing. And unfortunately, I really hadn't had time to look into too many of the sessions that you had during your annual event this year. But I've seen from the program that some of the talks and especially some of the keynotes are also addressing this aspect of ethical and socially responsible computing. Because although we are the ones providing the technology, we also have to think about the impact to the society, the ethical and the social dimensions that our research and the results that we produce at the end would have on a global scale. One aspect that is also pretty strong, I think, in ACM India, we heard a lot about the activities for students, would be education and technical advancement. So it's not only that we promote the technology, we present, we create new technologies, but also education is a very important aspect, not only for computer science students, for those who become the experts of the next generation, but also to the general public, to keep them well informed about what computer science actually can do, and maybe also sometimes to help them overcome fears that are also associated with new technology. And last but not least, I'm doing the core values from bottom up. Last but not least, of course, excellence. We truly believe that computer science is a challenging discipline and demands a lot from people working in that field. I'm sure that all of you can confirm that statement, and we are really striving for doing excellent research in that perspective. If I talk about specific activities that we have started in the last year, I probably would like to mention two major activities. The first one is related to our digital library. All of you, I assume, are familiar with the digital library and hopefully are using it frequently for your search for literature. It's a large volume of excellent publications on various topics, from more scientific point of view up to more practical oriented papers. We have more than 2.5 million bibliographic records. We have a large number of unique visitors and text downloads per month, so we can really see that the digital library is actively used. But of course, there is still always room for improvement. Like, for example, we are introducing new features to better explore and interact with the content, to do also some bibliographic analysis based on the data that we have to derive some metrics, and even to include additional information apart from just the full text publications, because we are creating digital artifacts besides publications. A lot of conferences are introducing now video tracks, for example. So the digital library is definitely not becoming a code repository. There are better ways of doing that, but I think it's worth to think about what kind of other research artifacts could also be included in the digital library, or better linked with the digital library, to make it really a comprehensive source of information. So it's a very important tool for both, I think, researchers and practitioners. And in the last year, we have made a resolution at the ACM Council. You probably have heard about that. The goal would be that in the coming period of, say, 5 years, I know that's quite ambitious, we really would like to have all the content in the digital library available by means of open access. This means we need to change our subscription models. That's a big organizational change. That's also a big financial change, to be honest. and especially challenging in times like this. We are facing many other changes as well that are forced ones, but this was a voluntary decision to make it open access and to cooperate with some of the big players in that field to have this valuable source of information available to everybody. Last but not least, I would like to share with you my vision for the future. This is an excerpt of the statement that I wrote when I was applying for my presidency, because I'm convinced from the very beginning, when I myself started studying computer science, that this is the technology of the future. And really in the sense of computing machinery, which in my opinion covers a broad range of all those kind of technologies that we see nowadays where computer science is built in. And I've just taken here 3 examples. When I wrote this statement now, well, more than 1.5 years ago, there was no COVID era, so this was the pre-COVID era, but if you read those statements nowadays, you see how much more relevant they are nowadays. So I would see an important role of computing machinery in fighting the CO2 dilemma. Our carbon footprint has to improve. We are now forced to actually improving it, and many countries do report that nature is recovering now because people are traveling less, but this is of course not a sustainable development. So we really have to think about sustainable solutions to that, and computing machinery could help in various ways in doing computational models, doing simulations, even advancing such telecommunication technologies that we are using right now, so that we can really reduce on the one hand our travel activities, but on the other hand increase the ways that we have for means of virtual communication. So this is another direction that we are going to address specifically within ACM. We have started a presidential task force with the objective to think about future conference formats, because we are now in the virtual mode, in the fully virtual mode, and probably also for the whole year of 21. But for the future, we also have to think about hybrid models. I truly believe, and we have seen this in all the statements before, that we want to come back together again, but probably not all of the events that we would like to participate, we will be able to participate physically. So I'm sure that hybrid events will be the future, and we are thinking about methods and techniques on how to best support that. Computing machinery, fertilizing medical research and healthcare. And again, this has many dimensions. And just in the talk before, we heard some very interesting examples on that. I could also think about research in that direction that not only does support the actual medical research, but just supports the exchange of information. Because again, what we have observed in the past months, it was so amazing how quickly research results could be exchanged, how quickly we could globally join our forces in fighting this threat that we are currently facing with the corona crisis. And I think also here computing machinery can serve and contribute a lot as a tool, as a technology. And last but not least, one thing that is for me personally also very important, I'm in a lucky situation of living in Austria, where we do believe that we have quite a good democracy, but the situation is not the same worldwide. And I think, again, computing machinery can do a lot in helping to protect democracy, to support democracy, and to promote democracy. So to conclude my presentation, I would like to congratulate the organizers for organizing this wonderful event. I would like to congratulate ACM India for the achievements in the past years. Specifically, I was very impressed by all the activities that you're doing for the students. I think that's very important, because if we educate our students, we are educating the experts of tomorrow, of the next generation. And this is where we would need to invest our forces to, and this is what our efforts would need to go into in educating the next generation. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward now to the next part of the ceremony.
Thank you, Gabriele.